Going.
Good.
Thanks everyone for joining us. We'll get started right with questions. We'll get started with Mia O'Brien.
Hi, Urban. Happy Friday. Just curious your assessment of how you guys address the tight end room so far in free agency and where that position group stands as of now.
That was a high priority. We have two different style tight ends. One is a Y, which is an on the line, basically an extension of your offense line, a very good blocker, but also very functional. In the pass game, we identified a guy, had him top of the list, and that's Manhertz, and we got him. I've not met him yet. He's coming in today, but we all are extremely excited about him. He was exactly what we wanted, and we got him. The next one is the F, and that's the primary pass catcher, but also a functional blocker. We have not addressed that. O'Shaughnessy on our, 2 years ago, O'Shaughnessy had a good year, showed a lot of potential. Obviously, he had an ACL injury. He's been in here training. I've gotten to know him, really enjoy being around him. So we're counting on him, but we have not finalized that piece of the puzzle yet. But the Y part is, we all feel extremely strong about Manhertz.
And just building off that, what factored into the decision to trade Josh Oliver?
That was, I didn't know Josh. That was our personnel side that made that decision and ran it by me before we did it, and I agreed. So I just didn't know a lot about him, and I know he's had some injuries since he's been here, and we decided to make that move.
Awesome. Thanks, Urban.
Thanks, Mia. We'll go to John Reed.
How you doing, Coach? Do you feel you hit on mostly everything that you wanted that you targeted on the defensive side of the ball in free agency?
Well, we started the way we went about it, and once again, this is all new to me, but I spent a lot of time trying to learn how to do this, and then I leaned on Trent, our general manager, but also our staff, the guys with experience in NFL. And after this, when we first got hired, we did something called EOS, end of season, and that's a complete, thorough review for about 3 weeks on our team. They turned in their evaluation of the current roster, and then the coordinators met with me and our general manager, and we put needs 1 through 10. And for example, need number 1, need number 2, need number 3, and that's how we went about free agency. And so on defense, the number one need, and regardless what the staff said, the number one need to me is always going to be build your defensive front. I expect our defense line to always be the top 4th, and in college I expect it to be the top 5 in America. In the NFL, I've told our staff I expect it to be the top 4th, at least now, and we should keep elevating that. Top 4th in the league, and we felt it wasn't. There were some good pieces in place, and we attacked it, and very excited about what did we get? 3 guys in free agency, maybe I believe 3, right? 4 defensive linemen. And so that was the place we built. I believe we're going to be in the top 4th in the league on the defensive line.
Yeah, just a follow-up. What do you like about Malcolm Brown?
Everything. I like the fact that we know him. Charlie Strong recruited him to Texas. He played for Coach Strong. We've had some great dialogue with people who knew him. I like the fact that he's a family man. He's a just high character guy. And when you see his size, 320, his bend, his athleticism, he's been well coached already at New Orleans. And we, not supposed to have favorites yet, but he's one of my favorites. I look forward to meeting him.
Thank you, Coach.
You bet.
Thanks, John. Go ahead, Mark Long.
Hey, Herb. Just curious, what do you expect the D-line to look like when you got the numbers here, this kind of number of guys, all very similar? Are you just it's going to just be a rotational thing?
I expect them to look really big. I mean, like big. I used to say that about the SEC. I want the SEC in the college football, often the defensive lines look different. So if you look at the size of the guys, we found, and Joe Cullen is a D-line guy, and so is Tosh Lupoi, obviously. There's a reason why I hired those 2 coaches, too. That's just, I've always had excellent defensive line coaches, and And so I listened to their expertise, but I also got a vision of what it's supposed to look like. And once again, don't put the cart before the horse and expect. I know what the expectation is, and that better be. I expect our defensive line to be one of the strengths of our team.
And then obviously you probably didn't get everybody you wanted. How unique was that for you, given your history at Ohio State, Florida? You're not used to being turned down on signing day. Yeah,
I remember it is new. I see that. I said, go get him. I want that guy. Go get him. In recruiting, we would have a recruiting meeting and identify the best players, say, go get them. And then all of a sudden I start finding out this guy cost $28 million. This guy cost, and it was a really, I knew it. To say I didn't know it, of course I knew it, but just the way you put that puzzle together about here's your cap space, here's your choices. Can we take him, but we get 3 of these guys to help? And so I imagine once you build your roster exactly the way you want it, then you can take one guy and go get that, the $25 million athlete. We're not in position to do that right now. We're just not. So it was a learning experience, and I feel great about it.
Thanks, Mark. We'll go to Mike DeRocco.
Morning, Urban. Can you break down what you guys wanted to do at wide receiver? Why Marvin Jones, older guy, and Philip Dorsett?
Yeah, speed, and Mike, that is speed's something I've always believed in. And Philip Dorsett answers that question. His production, you can challenge, which I will challenge. I haven't really met him yet. I haven't even talked to him. I see him, I believe, today. But he's blessed with incredible physical qualities. He catches the ball well on top of the fact he has great speed. So we addressed that need, and we're still not done in my mind addressing that. But the one position I've been pleased with, and I actually, when I first started watching the Jaguars, is DJ Shark and LaVisca are 2 guys that I think you can build. They're young. I've spent a lot of time with them. They've been in to see me. They're anxious. They're ready to go. I hired an excellent receiver coach in Sanjay Lal. That position is going to be a huge part of our offense. And we felt, we didn't make a run, or at least look at that whole, because there are some very good players out there. But once again, you start looking at the value, which is a term that I've learned to really appreciate value, the value players. And I think Marvin's extremely high value for how we came across that. Of all the guys we signed, there were 2. He is one that my phone has blown up over the last few days from colleagues and friends that I've known that tell me about what kind of not only player but a leader. So he's got to be a leader in that room. And Sanjay feels very strong about that. He can do that. Heck of a player too. I mean, on videotape, really loved watching that guy play.
Are you guys fielding trade offers for Gardner Minchu at this point? You willing to move him if you get the right offer?
At this point, no. At this point, I know Gardner a little bit. He came in yesterday. We had a good visit. That's the second time I've spent time with him. This is all kind of new to me. I'm used to spending about 5-6 hours a day with our quarterback. That's January and February is the days to get your quarterback ready to go, and you can't do that in the NFL. So, there's a lot of anticipation about the first pick, and I understand, there's a lot of conversation out there, but there has been no decisions made. Gardner's done some very good things here in Jacksonville, and he's a competitive maniac, which I really appreciate that about him. So there's been no decisions made. Yesterday was the first lengthy meeting we had, and we're going to continue that here for the next few weeks.
And one more, if I can, back to signing guys. I mean, you're not used to signing guys that you haven't met with. Obviously, in recruiting, you meet with those guys. So how much, I don't know if anxiety is the right word, but maybe trepidation or how much is that an issue with you at this point?
Yeah, that was awful. I don't agree with it, but no one asked my opinion. I guess the old days you could bring them in and meet them, have dinner with them, and find out the football intellect, find out the character, find out that. So we had to do. The thing I found out is call someone who has a skin in the game, because they're going to not quite be, I don't see honest isn't the appropriate word, but So we did a deep dive. Every guy that we signed, we did. I have Ryan Stamper and Marcus Pallard. I call those guys our assessment guys. They did as much deep dive as we could. The ones like Malcolm that Charlie Strong recruited and knew, we were good. Roy Roberts, we did a deep dive into him, and it came back extremely positive. So that was, to answer your question, that was awful. That I don't believe it should be that way. Not when you're making organizational decisions. I'm not sure how that rule came about, but that's, that to me, that's not good business.
Thanks.
Thanks, D-Rock. We'll go to Gene Fournette.
Hey, Urban, I was just wondering, going into free agency, how much did you expect your career resume to provide you with some type of advantage based on, your track record of winning? And was there any part of you that thought, well, maybe it might be a little bit of a disadvantage because I haven't been in the NFL yet, and you haven't, players don't know what kind of culture you're going to create?
That never really came up. I think I heard from some players they were excited about because they think we have a good, nice plan for winning because we have won a lot of games, but that it really wasn't the recruiting element of it. It was came down to value. Are you willing to pay this kind of money for that player at a position of need? So I didn't feel the recruiting element. I was ready to. I had all my recruiting stuff ready to go, but it didn't really come down to that. It came down to, are you going to pay the player and get in the game? I was hoping to get some former players, but they were just, it didn't work. Carlos I'm trying to think. We went after a couple other ones, or at least thought. But once again, you start talking about value, and so that really didn't play a big role.
As a follow-up to that, 2 or 3 years down the road, if you get to the point where the Jaguars are winning and winning consistently, how much would you expect something like that to help you in free agency?
Oh, I think a new facility, the Jaguar emblem, that's going to be a big part if we can make that mean something and very powerful, which that's our goal. The fact that Jacksonville, that's, talking to a lot of the players, that was very appealing to them. Once again, I'm dealing with, the tax situation has become a big topic, a conversation. And my 35 years prior, I can't remember ever talking about the tax situation with potential prospects in recruiting, or that didn't exactly come up. That came up a lot. So there's a lot of benefits. I have very strong feelings about the 904 in Jacksonville and Duval County. And, I want to make this a destination. We all want to make this a destination place. I think we can.
A quick one. Could you just give us your assessment of Jihad Ward and what you expect him to bring?
Yeah, that's, I did very little homework on him because Joe Cullen, from the first day I met Joe, and in his interview, we were watching film and he pointed him out several times. He's exactly the kind of person that we look for in the culture. And Joe Cullen, who I've known forever, I don't know if I've ever had a coach pound the table as hard for a guy. He wanted him to be part of our organization. That's why we did it.
Thanks.
Thanks, Gene. We'll go to Hayes and then wrap up with John Shipley.
Hey, Urban, how important was Shaquille Griffin in terms of putting this together, and how potentially great can you guys be at corner with Griffin and C.J. Henderson?
Yeah, and Sidney Jones as well. So we have 3 guys that we feel are, one was a second rounder. Then obviously Shaq, we feel very, very strong about. And CJ's went through his labrum surgery and he's doing very well. The good thing about those 3, if they play like we expect, Trey Herndon's another guy that had done some very good things here. I really like his competitiveness. He's working really hard. Those 4 players, to me, if you can have 2 guys that can play man coverage and you can go inside like we did Ohio State when we had Sean Wade there. If your third player can play man coverage, that's exactly where you need to be. So I really like where we're at with the 4 corners. And that was obviously after D-line. That's right where we went, is to go fix the corner position.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Hayes. We'll wrap up with John Shipley.
Hey, Coach, just how important was it to get a guy like Roy Robson Harris who has shown he can provide some pass rush up the middle and not just be a run stopper?
Yeah, he's a giant. He's here. I spent time with him yesterday, and feel very strong about him. Obviously, he was high on the list. And when you talk about value, when you put, which we, the process we use, we assign value to players as we watched them, as we ranked them for the last over a month, and he came in at an extremely high value for his potential, the fact that we still feel his best football is ahead of him, the quality of person and work ethic that he has, and the coaching he's going to receive. So that was, once again, he was at the top or near the top of our list on the value-based players, and big get, critical get.
And a quick follow-up, Urban, just Rayshon Jenkins, how important was it to add him to back into your defense?
Yeah, him and Shaq grew up together. They're Florida guys. They were dying to get back here, but I know some players on the Chargers team, and I wanted to really do my due diligence because that's the third position that needs immediate help, and he checked all the boxes. And there were about 2 or 3 safeties that we were knee deep in, and we were ecstatic to get him.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey, just following up on that, Herb, do you remember recruiting those 2 guys?
No, I do
in
not.
The St. Pete area? No.
Yeah, I don't remember. One was at Central Florida, one was Miami. Ended up in Miami.
Yeah.
Lewis Murphy helped me though.
How so? Oh, helped you at Florida. Oh yeah.
No, he helped me with these guys.
How so?
Just what kind of players there, what kind of people, and Lewis Murphy is he might be coming down there and help us out a little bit too. He feels very strong about the quality of football in the St. Pete area, obviously. So he was a cheerleader more than anything, but he did help.
Did you know Roy Robertson had a kid named Jax before you signed him?
No, I met Jax, and great dude, and he's a guy we'll go after in about 20 years.
Hey, Urban, real quick, you brought Aldrick Rosas back in. Is that because of some concern with Josh Lambo and the hip? You brought Rosas back in. Is that because of some concern with Lambo and the hip?
Yeah, he had some injuries, struggled a little bit, but Lambo's got a great history around here as far as execution and accuracy and competition, brings out the best. Brian Snyder feels very strong about Rojas too, and I talked to him on the phone. I've not met him yet, but look forward to spending time with him as well. But yeah, I think he has a great history as well. It's going to be, I look forward to watching that one develop.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate your time. Media will be back on this afternoon for player availability. We'll keep you updated on timing. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, sir. Thanks, Alex.